Good morning. We've got today in our schedule two feuilletons with numbers 350 and 351. That is accounted since July 2017. That is a fictional satire that's been written by me, Andrei Hamster Shatalov, and is going to be narrated in several minutes soon by me. If both materials are completely fictional, fictitious, if you find any resemblance or prepared to believe that there's any resemblance to the reality, that is a completely wrong assumption, and that has not been intended. The first feuilleton, both feuilletons, have not been published yet and will be laid out next week on Monday in the Zimbabwe Sport magazine, as that's scheduled. The first feuilleton is called "We Suit Our Energy Production If Baltic Sea Dies, That Is Life." That is scheduled as a fictional interview of Russia's businessman who deals in nuclear energy and gas export to Zimbabwe Sport magazine. Magazine. Good evening. Climate changes are really well noticeable in Russia. My advisors believe that it must do with your nuclear energy plant's surplus dissipation. Is that right, Kashmar? Russia's businessman who deals in the nuclear energy and the gas export. What events do you mean, Kashmar? Magazine. I was appointed the second secretary of the United States Embassy in the Soviet Union in 1988. This was a terrific winter season when we played ice hockey all winter through and till April 1989. The winter season 1989-1990 was the last one when it was possible to play ice hockey outdoors. Starting 1991, no one was happy to repeat our yard battles as we were unable to pour a rink. An average temperature stood just above zero more than 2/3 of winter. Businessman. Yes, your observations are correct. The USSR put into operation a few powerful energy plants in 1990. It were floating platforms, like huge barges, that were placed in the Arctic Ocean in order to use its cold water as a coolant, since efficiency of our energy production was below 0.25%. Other energy was heat that was needed to be dissipated for what we anchored the platforms on strong current that was going to east along our Arctic coast. I hope you aren't going to speculate about the awful fate of polar bears who died of starvation in thousands after a clear surface gap within the Arctic coast and dense Arctic ice covered North Pole deepened to 200 kilometers. Magazine. I'm not Greenpeace activist. Though, why did thousands of polar bears die? Kashmar. Businessmen. They feed on sea mammals like seals and walrus, who are successfully hunted only from floating ice. When it cost, polar bears can't catch them as its white fur and huge size plus low speed does not let them to snatch the prey. The poor predators missed the time when the open water gap started to widen. The polar bears could only swim across several kilometers. Later, when it reached 100 kilometers, the starving animals were doomed to perish of famine. Magazine. Why did weather change? Kashmar. Businessman. Open sea water absorbs solar radiation much better than ice, which deflects it. The temperature rose several degrees what changed Arctic humidity and wind. This happened 1,500 kilometers from Moscow, where much warmer Arctic air streams didn't bring enough cold air, which was a necessary actor against warm humid air from south to produce snow, clouds and chilly weather. A Moscow winter average temperature jumped above zero, what practically killed outdoor skiing, skating, sledging and other winter sports. Magazine. I see. What is happening now, Kashmir? I don't see snow and cold weather at all, though ice on Moscow region rivers and ponds must have frozen by December, Forecasts don't promise any negative temperature change. Businessman, we moved the nuclear platforms from White Sea to Baltic Sea. Magazine, why question mark? Businessman, we are short of synthetic gas for export. Plus it was costly to pump it through long pipes from Arctic region to Germany. Now, when the platforms are around St. Petersburg, we economize on both electricity and gas deliveries, riding charges. Magazine, how synthetic gas is connected to nuclear plants? Question mark. Businessman, these nuclear plants ain't the usual. It are thermonuclear. As its efficiency is extremely low, we now convert its useless heat into synthetic gas, which is made of hydrogen obtained from cracking of water and subsoil coal. Both chemical reactions require lots of heat, as consume waste energy before we obtain synthetic gas. Magazine, do you export through the Nord Stream pipes natural or synthetic gas? Question mark. Businessman, only synthetic. It was the main reason why we moved the platforms closer to buyers of the export gas. Magazine, how material is the waste of heat that, as I understand, gets dissipated in waters of Baltic Sea? Question mark. Businessman, 95% of all energy produced as a result of thermonuclear reaction. Magazine, so I get, check me out, that your plants produce 0.25% electricity and just around 5% of useful heat in form of synthetic gas. Is that calculation correct? Businessman, yes, that's correct. Magazine, how great is heat wasted into Baltic Sea? Question mark. Businessman, if all the plants are on, its total dissipation is above 3 gigawatts. Magazine, what does it mean in terms of local warming? Question mark. Businessman, 3 degrees of water temperature plus an existing natural level. Magazine, it doesn't seem much, does it? Question mark. Businessman, for the whole Baltic Sea, 3 degrees up means a new climate zone. Magazine, why? Question mark. Businessman, in summer seasons, dangerous sea weeds will slosh over Baltic Sea. Magazine, what is a menace? Question mark. Businessman, it kills all sea species as the weeds breathe by underwater air that is diluted in the water. Its amount is in a shortage. Magazine, why warm seas inhabitants in tropics don't die of the weeds? Question mark. Businessman, its evolution made them resistant to weeds that are called out by other microorganisms, though Baltic Sea has no such natural mechanism. Magazine, yet, what about the weather changes? Question mark. Businessman, Baltic Sea won't ever be covered by ice. This explains why Moscow is standing free of snow. Baltic Sea does not produce chilling air fronts and more after its surface warmed up and went free of ice. Magazine, do you expect Finland, Sweden, Denmark, Baltic states to raise hell? Question mark. Businessman, these countries are small and weak. Fur told us to forget about these scandalizers and scandalmongers. Magazine, might the business change to worse? Question mark. Businessman, it certainly will, as they will have to timely accommodate to new weather conditions. Magazine, if the USA stop your export via the Nord Streams, what they are trying to intensively to accomplish, will you shut down the energy plants? Question mark. Businessman, yes, we will have to. Magazine, doesn't this mean that the weather changes ain't stable, irreversible, but will be dependent on success of your gas trades overseas? Question mark. Businessman, yes, right, it does mean that. Magazine, may the full power mode turn Baltic Sea into Red Sea? Question mark. Businessman, if we increase our power production up to 15 gigawatts. Magazine, does this mean that you will get 15 gigawatts of gross or net? Magazine, businessman, each electric plant is measured by net production. Magazine, but when I asked you about quantity of heat wasted into Baltic waters, you said it was 3 gigawatts. What actually was actual waste? Question mark. Magazine, 3 gigawatts was meant equal to 5% of the entire energy production. Thus, 3 gigawatts of electricity and gas outcome mean together 57 gigawatts net waste into Baltic waters warm up. Magazine. Are 3 degrees of Baltic water upwards are computed on 57 gigawatts waste. What is the current level that has been already reached? Question mark. Magazine. Yes, this level of Baltic region warm up has been already attained. Magazine. If Russia boosts its energy production on Baltic Sea to 15 gigawatts of useful energy, what could it mean for Baltic Sea mid-underwater temperature? Question mark. Magazine. Red Sea. Magazine. Do other parties like the UN, USA, UK, Germany have any idea about what you're going to do? Question mark. Businessman. We're free to do in our jurisdiction whatever we like. This is our prerogative and privilege. Provided we don't contaminate the sea, we may do whatever we deem prudent. Magazine. Other points are well covered against terror attacks? Question mark. Businessman. There are many squadrons of air defense and counter-terror. Magazine. If a king of Sweden decides he dislikes tuna fish and barracudas, which will likely appear in the Baltic Sea soon, may he squash the plans by airstrikes? Question mark. What could happen then? Question mark. Businessman. There won't be any thermonuclear explosion if you mean this. Our technology is so unstable that it may not produce more than we generate now, whatever surge or malfunction happens. So a successful woman will destroy the plants, but risks of a super blast are almost nil. Magazine. Have you received any protests yet? Question mark. Businessman. No, we just have started the production on new places. Magazine. How far the platforms offshore? Question mark. Businessman. 3 kilometers or miles. I can say for sure. It must be way out of sea borders, but as far as possible from sea banks to obtain better dissipation. Magazine. Do you believe that Europeans won't shut your offers as synthetic gas when learn what you have done to Baltic climate? Question mark. Businessman. I believe that they will shut their eyes when learn our prices as less than other offers. Magazine. Are you sure that your self-cost goes below the benchmark? Question mark. Businessman. Yes, I am. Magazine. What is the standard efficiency of Russia's hydro energy plants per unit of fallen potential energy of dropped water? Question mark. Businessman. Less than 3%. Magazine. Do you know how much Japan's hydro turbines generate per same unit? Question mark. Businessman. 20. Magazine. Why are you so sure that European energy plants will overrun? Question mark. Businessman. They don't have thermonuclear in principle. They merely can't compete with us. Magazine. What about the pipe that was laid down on the bottom of Strait of Dover this year? Question mark. Our experts believe that the USA sold the Great Britain its thermonuclear technology what materially altered prices for fuel gas in Western Europe this summer by visible reduction. Magazine. Businessman. I guess that the rumors that Los Alamos, version of thermonuclear with electrostatic arrest of plasma, beats our efficiency many times are substantially exaggerated. Otherwise, we would know about that. Magazine. That is a wish to find out. Many thanks. That's all. The next one, the photo for today, also is a fictional satire. That is number 351, as counted since July 2017. It's called Now Please Pass Me Your Bad Money and Biography. That is scheduled as a fictional interview of a chief of first personal guard to Zimbabwe Sun Sport magazine. It has been, as the previous one, written by me, Andrei Hamster Shatalov, and is going to be narrated to Infamous. That has not been published yet, like I said, and then will go out next week on Monday. Magazine. Morning. What is an altercation about first daughters that quivered Moscow media community? Question mark. A chief of first personal guard. There was a press conference where Fuhrer was asked how much his daughters make? Question mark. He meandered left and right, didn't wish to answer the question. Some counter first minders and activists who always attack him for any reason pulled this topic out of the stash files of development. Now many have intensified their attempts to find any mark in girls' demeanor. That is my hassle and worry now. Magazine. Will they be successful in finding flies in the ointment? Question mark. Chief of Guard. No. They are doomed to stumble in a trap that we meticulously erected for them. Magazine. Why? Question mark. What kind of snare did you build? Question mark. Chief of Guard. Simple. Candidates believed by media and public to be first daughters and them. That was our standard classical move how to shake paparazzi and mug finders off our tail. Magazine. So a businesswoman who runs a large state fund is the first sin. Is that right, question mark? Chief of Guard. Yes, you're completely correct. Magazine. Where are genuine first sweethearts? Question mark. Chief of Guard. They develop a career of an opera star. They love their scale a lot. Magazine. Yet, this is the first occasion when I hear that they turned into public performers, popular singers. However, to start up and earmark such investment, it could take a dozen years of sweaty toil. That is kinda new something that they went out on such journey. Question mark. No. Period. Chief of Guard. You haven't had the chance to learn truth. They began 7 years ago when they received documents of an opera star who already was a multiple prize winner of several famous professional contests. Magazine. I twig that they go under oneself's ID and cover. Well, what is the point to invest your efforts into oneself's name and profile? Question mark. Chief of Guard. They don't invest their money into oneself's profile and publicity. They do invest their efforts into their own. Magazine. How do they call themselves now? Question mark. I mean, since 7 years ago? Question mark. First, dear babes named Matilda and Greta? Question mark. Chief Guard. No, they call themselves Eva. Eva Moscoviti. Magazine. I guess I know this person. She was a very promising, fast-rising opera star when I first saw her name among reports. Of course, I'm not an opera fan. That's why I don't follow events on the national stage. Yet, didn't anyone notice a strange change how Eva has altered? Question mark. I mean, I doubt that first daughters are as good as her in vocalization. Chief of Guard. Yes, I agree. By the way, they ain't as good as her in visual appearance too. Magazine. But how did they arrange so she does not protest how they miss out her achievements by their awry performance? Question mark. I'm aware that musical fans are very fastidious and censorious, will easily drop any rookie upstart and actor who unfortunately sometimes impersonate real figures. Chief of Guard. She can't. Magazine. Why can't she? Question mark. Chief of Guard. Because they ousted her out of her bed, money and documents. This was a power operation that was conducted under first command 7 years ago. She, to put that straight out, does not exist anymore, though her name is in use by first offsprings. Magazine. How could you persuade a person whose aspiration led them to climb the worst stage atop to so easily, smoothly drop all life sets and depart from their personal name, biography and background shoes? Question mark. It's not hard to start new life line when you are 30? Question mark. Chief of Guard. That is called heart lock. This is something similar, analogous to an arm lock or choke bar in a jiu-jitsu. A fighter wishes to skip up but can't, as caught by an acute pain trap that can't shake off. Ultimately, they surrender. She was caught by a certain heart lock and quit her existence as Eva Moscovita 7 years ago. There haven't been any protest from her since that thing occurred. Magazine. How did they put a pin girdle on her? Question mark. Chief of Guard. Doctors from St. Petersburg Military Academy infected her with a lethal strain that may kill if you don't get treated timely and right. She stood the dilemma whether to drop her life profile or die. She chose to drop her ID. The sweethearts waited around the corner on alert to quickly pick the asset. Magazine. How did they pick a personal jacket? Question mark. Chief of Guard. For order to reissue a passport and BO registration in her name to them. Magazine. How two similar but not identical individuals may bear the same ID and walk on it, where we are surrounded by BO recognition technologies? Question mark. Chief of Guard. First, Guard has its government communications unit inside. This is a banal electronic double deck that maybe is arranged where you have an access to a proper retrieval system and fundamental databases. Magazine. Didn't she file an application with police for extortion attempt? Question mark. Chief of Guard. They want a particular arm rancher. It would pop up as an extortion suspect. She was contacted by distant understanding methods. She lacked a chance to figure out a dealer who could be arraigned as the hurt lock actor. Magazine. Why did it happen to her when she was in hot tremor? What did happen to her when she was in hot tremor in ER? Question mark. I guess she had to somehow waive a name entitlement anyway. Had she perished, she wouldn't be an advantage to any deceased folks' names pick up. Chief of Guard. They of course extorted a release shot in exchange for her name when she was on the bare brink of her painful breakdown in each medical sense. But no one could prove the remotion, as this was her last second prior to full memory deletion she agreed to and was immediately exposed to. She perhaps thought that she could appeal the ultimate extortion after they would release her pain, but missed a scheme designed to pinch, stoned each slice shifter, who may later raise hell under extortion accusations on a double-thought jerk-out maneuver. Magazine. What did she receive afterwards? Chief of Guard. A jacket of a folk actress. Who amazes underworld like looking dudes in junction joints. Magazine. Didn't anyone recognize the missing opera star in the image of the straight cuff face entertainer? Question mark. What about her relatives who could become a hassle prick in first ass? Question mark. Chief of Guard. We deleted the whole family cluster completely. Magazine. Ultimately, or did you dispatch them as her? Question mark. Chief of Guard. Of course we can't afford to raise so many dudes ultimately. They all got caught by different hard locks and went off the track they tread. Magazine. Why did the daughters need such cover-up that much as was justified to go for the soft erasure of the whole family clan? Question mark. Chief of Guard. They couldn't walk under their real names anyway. We surely were able to construct fake deals, but chose to take the first lunch on a daisy pop-out. Magazine. Is there any repercussion that could retrieve the initial sentence? Question mark. Chief of Guard. Hardly any except for a foreign chap who was her husband. What we had no idea about. Magazine. How did you miss such important detail? Question mark. Chief of Guard. She signed out a marriage contract when was overseas, what kept in strict secrecy. Magazine. We bumped out her off, but then learned that she had a husband who continued as a liver. We attempted to raise him too, but failed as he went under foreign state protection shelter. We hoped that we could touch up his memory to straighten it up as to facts that stuck out uglily. Yet, this intent failed as all others. We were unable to overhaul the issue. Is that right? Chief of Guard. Has it ended up in any fuss up? Excellent. It looks like the last questions to Ferd during his press review went random. It seems that they set out an operation against Ferd's daughters to accuse them of physical extortion, great personal estate misappropriation, and other collateral crimes. Chief of God. Did they grasp a succession key to her estate when she went off? Magazine. They did commit all my worst nightmare. They jumped into her bed, money and background, making white traces everywhere, so I can't predict what else could happen if the FBI stomps on his consort. Chief of Guard, have you received the notice of the storm, subpoena officially and unofficially? Magazine. Yes, we have. Though I haven't been fully certain that a qualified as such as was something like we did before she was bumped off in the ER ward. I keep waiting to see how this deadlock may get unraveled. Oh man, life is full shit. Chief of Guard, very, very interesting, Bob. Trust me.